Welcome to the Whole Mom Revolution podcast. This is episode 2, and yes, it is also an audio that does not have an accompanying video. Wow. Okay, so I fell into that one, but I made a couple realizations that I want to share with you here, and maybe this will help you too. Pivoting is okay, changing course is okay, and having a plan B, C, D, E, whatever is also okay. So, my original intention with this podcast was to just have it translated from a video, most likely a long form YouTube video, and brought over onto the podcast platform, perhaps some compilations. But I started to realize that I spend not a lot of time, but I spend a good amount of time in my car going to and from different things. We homeschool the kids, so and we have them involved in different activities that they, are show passion and interest in because we like to cultivate that in our children. So I'm going here and there, dropping the kids off, sometimes waiting. Depends on what the scenario is. But the fact of the matter is, I'm generally the one that's doing the dropping off and all. So I have some time where I'm on the road. And I'm like, let me just do some audio recordings, right? A lot of times I'm listening to audiobooks, podcasts, seminars, stuff like that. So why not take this time to do some recording and talk about what I want to talk about? So every now and then you're going to hear just pure audio. You won't be able to find the video version, and every now and then you will. And you'll be able to tell in the description. I'll let you know if there is an accompanying video or if it's just purely audio. So now that that's out of the way and you kind of got your little mini lesson there on being okay to pivot or change depending on the scenario, the season, even the day. Let's continue with what I wanted to talk about for today, and that is belief. Now, why am I talking about belief to you? And belief, of course, belief in what? Specifically, we are going to talk about belief in ourselves and belief in our abilities. Because if there's one thing I've noticed among moms, especially moms, and I feel like I've never met a mom who didn't have a vision. I really haven't, and that would be really sad. There are of course, outliers who, maybe they really don't have anything that they want to do special with their life. Like, yeah, this would be nice, that would be nice. And those I think are undeveloped visions. Those are callings maybe the Lord put on their heart, but they kind of brushed it aside because they thought either their disbelief was super strong, or perhaps they thought, they heard wrong, they weren't worthy of it, it wasn't the right time, they would do it after the kids grew up and moved out, whatever that was. But in general, most moms have this calling, this vision, this idea for where they want their life to go, what they want their life to look like, an impact that they want to make in the world. And yes, of course, our first ministry is our family, so don't misunderstand me here. But I believe that we are larger than that, and not to say that that's not the most important calling, because it absolutely 100% is. But I believe that the Lord has also given us things outside of our family. And a lot of times, and most of the time, those things involve our family, right? Like, how many ministry families have you seen, missionary families have you seen that, do the Lord's calling together, right? So it doesn't necessarily have to be outside of your family, but it's just something that you personally or collectively with your family feel led to do besides just, homeschooling, raising your babies, and all that. Some moms feel led to help other moms. That's my thing. Like, some moms feel led to start a ministry or a specific business or outreach or volunteer, nonprofit, like whatever it is, that's something that, especially if it's not just something on a whim and it's been with you for a while, that I believe is something the Lord put on our hearts. And to just cultivate that and further nurture that and see where it goes, I think we're doing a disservice to ourselves, to our children, to our families, and to the world when we don't do that. I believe that we owe it to all of those aforementioned that to see that through and see where it goes, right? Because, when we follow something that really means a lot to us, it's going to enhance our lives, not take away from them. And I think you know, a lot of people think if I pursue whatever it is, this is going to take time away from my family. This is going to take time away from my housework or whatever it is that you're currently doing. And while if you're bad at time management or if you're not, familiar with how you can, make time rather than create rather than finding time, and you don't know these little nuances and you don't learn them, and more importantly, because nobody really knows them. You're not born with these skills of time blocking and, prioritizing things and not putting out little fires all day long and all that. These are skills we have to pick up along the way. Skills that I am not, no one's perfect at. Hear me, please, but skills that I help other moms with. And there's so much out there that can teach you these things. You can find so much free content out there. It's absolutely mind blowing. There's no excuse. We cannot use ignorance as an excuse anymore. I don't know how. No, go to YouTube and type in how to XYZ, and I guarantee you, you will find more videos than you can watch in a lifetime on whatever topic you're looking into. Okay. So, that being said, once we figure out how to fit these things into our lives, pursuing them and going for them, regardless if they, we ever see them to fruition or not, is part of life's journey and part of life's path. And that's where the beauty is found. So many of us, we think, of course, yes, be content in the moment, be grateful for what you have. That is I would say almost number one, if not number one thing, is being grateful for what you have, being grateful in the moment. But a lot, so I feel like there's two extremes. There's the being in the moment and present, like way too present, not way too present, but way too content and not aspiring for more when we know that we have more within us. Or the other extreme, which is like being completely and totally drenched in misery unless we can reach that top of that mountain or whatever we're trying to achieve. And the thing about goals, mountains, like I said, is the goalpost one is always moving. Because one, if it's not, once you get there, you're going to feel, a sense of joy for a while. You're going to be super ecstatic, but then that high is going to wear off and you're going to just feel like you did before. So goalposts are always moving. That's how it should be, right? So if you keep your eye on the prize, but you enjoy the journey along the way, you're going to have so much more fun because that is where your character is built, the journey. You don't just say, well, when I get there, I'll be this person, I'll do these things and I'll have these things. That's not how that works. You become the person first. This is the be do have framework that Myron Golden talks about that is biblical. This is founded in the Bible. In the book of Genesis, the first command that the Lord told humans was be fruitful. That's the command to be, identity, do activity, do multiply, and have dominion, have ownership, stewardship. And so be do have is the order it has to go. But so many people think, once I have these things, then I'll do these things and be this person. And they're trying to go out of order. And if you go out of order, it's not going to be pretty. It's not going to work the way it's intended to be. You could say, the dog bit Johnny, right? And that's all well and fine. The dog bit Johnny, poor Johnny, Johnny got bitten. But what if you say Johnny bit the dog? Now that's a completely different sentence, right? The only thing that changed was the order. But when you change the order, it changes the meaning, it changes everything about the sentence. So when you change the order of anything, if you change the order when you're baking, you take these raw ingredients, these eggs, and you cook them first before you add them to your cake batter, that's not going to turn out to a pretty cake. You're going to have scrambled eggs inside of raw cake batter, and nobody's going to want to eat that. So, order is super important, and God lays these things out for us in His Word. And it's amazing because, I love the Bible. It's my absolute favorite book, obviously. But becoming like an entrepreneur and learning these principles and how they align with the Bible and how they align with biblical principles, a lot of them I already, knew, understood, and all that. But just looking more and more into it, and the more I learn, I'm like completely and totally amazed. Our pastor has an acronym for Bible. It's BIBLE, Basic Instructions Before Leaving Earth. And it's amazing how, and it's not shocking because, it's the book, right? But it literally gives us all these instructions and these ways to be successful in every way of the word in life. So, all that said, following our calling, but taking the right path, going in the right order, being content where we're at, enjoying the journey along the way, and believing that where we're at right in this very moment is exactly where we are supposed to be. Exactly. We might feel like, oh, I wish this would hurry up a little bit more. I just need to see a little more success. I need to see proof that it's working. I just need something to confirm that I'm on the right. That's not, unfortunately, God's timing is not our timing. And there's a reason that we are where we are right now. There's a lesson to be learned, and until we learn that lesson, whatever season we're in, whatever situation, circumstance we are in, is going to keep repeating itself until we learn the lesson that we are meant to learn. And sometimes it's just going to keep repeating itself because that's where we're supposed to be right now. Now, don't let that be an excuse to, fall by the wayside, get lackadaisy, procrastinate, yada, yada, yada. No, but understand that you're exactly where you need to be right now and what you're doing, as long as you're giving all you got, right? If all you got is not that much today, maybe you're having a hard day, you're still giving 100% because that's all you got. Maybe yesterday you gave more and you were giving 100%, but today you're still giving 100%. It's just all you got. So don't be hard on yourself. Be grateful for the moment. Believe that where you're at is where you're meant to be. Believe that what you're doing is so important. Believe that God will guide you every step of the way. He's not going to show you the finish line. You're not going to be able to see it right now. I'm sorry. There is no finish line until it's over. It's not over till it's over, right? But we're only going to be able to see a step or two in front of us. Like we're holding a little lantern. It's dark and we can only see the next step or two. So just take that next step, step out in belief, believe in yourself, because that truly is the magic thread, the magic sauce, whatever you want to call it. Belief is everything. If you don't believe that what you're doing is valid, if you don't believe that what you're doing is going to work, your subconscious is going to sabotage you. It is going to stop you. Resistance is going to come in, and it already will, even if you believe the heck out of yourself. And it is going to try to sabotage you, especially the bigger your calling and the closer to your calling that you get. Resistance is going to come, and it is going to try to defeat you. If you haven't read The War of Art yet by Stephen Pressfield, I highly, highly, highly recommend you do. It is amazing, and it just explains resistance so well. There are so many different forms of resistance that I didn't even think were resistance. Just realize that these things are going to come at you, and none of them, absolutely none of them, mean anything about what you're supposed to do or who you're supposed to be. They're just trying to stop you to see how bad you really want this. You have to push through. You have to keep that belief in yourself, or you will self sabotage. Just believe in yourself, believe in God, believe and trust in the journey, and just keep on trucking along the path because I believe in you. I am here with you every step of the way. I'm going to hold your hand and see you through this. Come join me over on Facebook, Whole Mom Revolution. It's a free group for moms. We talk all about mindset. I share the things that I've done over the years that have worked. I share what hasn't worked for me. I'm very transparent. You're welcome to ask me any questions you have. I truly want to see you succeed, and I am here for you. I hope you have a blessed day and keep going.